Hi, I'm making a game about a sad Mars rover, and last month a lot of people actually watched my video, like over 1,000 people, and that's a lot of people, isn't it? That's a fair few. And I got a few comments, so I thought, why not, when life gives you lemonade, you put ice cubes in it? Yeah, that's the quote. I thought I'd implement your comments. I thought I would take some of your suggestions and put them into my game. Because, the internet's always insightful and know what they're talking about. And, they really take time to put a measured response in. So let's check the first comment. At EEEE1234 Sam has said, get better graphic. Okay, I'll give it a go. I'll try. My response to this extremely well thought out comment was, I've updated the texture on the rocks that I got. I know the rocks weren't very high quality, so I thought I would get a higher quality texture and put them on it, and I've tried to put the normal map over it, but that means I can't. So let me show you. Hold on. So I made a new material here called new rock material, would you believe? And it looks okay, but because it's such a high quality texture, I thought if I tile it 10 by 10, and then let's use this rock as an example, this one, I choose you. So if I put this on here, then it looks quite high quality, although, hold on, it's 5, that was it. So that looks better, but the normals are all a bit messed up because it's not got the right normal map on it. But then if you put the right normal map on it, so let me get rock 2. So this is it with the right normal map on it, but you can see, oh no, it's stretched out again. Because if I want to set it to the same tiling as the last one, then the normals are tiled as well, and that looks a bit, yeah. So I need to figure that out, but it's a start, right? It's I tried E1234 Sam. I'm trying, okay? So yeah, it's still, stretched out in places, which has stressed me out. But I also painted a new terrain texture over the cliffs, well, not cliffs, like hills around the map, so it's not just sand everywhere now. And I hope that suffices for the in-world graphics, but I did also want to update some of the UI. Now this is still a work in progress, I've not done yet, but you can see I've got some new UI up here and down here, just to, make everything look nicer. It's not done, because pause menu's not done or anything, but it's a start, I'm getting there. This UI pack is by, I can't remember the name, I'll link it in the description though. Go check it out, it was on sale on itch, give them some money. Cool, on to the next comment. The next comment I got is from @Kebil, and it says, I think the camera needs to look higher. I can do that, Kebil, 1 second. And for the last comment, oh, why did it do that? That's not. Am I going crazy? Did anybody else see that? Or is it just me? Okay, last comment is from @Tallman3Crags102, and they say, instead of a third-person camera, what about a little arm that comes off it, and that's the third-person camera. It would feel more like a sim. Could use inverse kinematics or not. Obviously the game's early dev, been making it for a while now, but it looked interesting to see where it goes. Thanks, Tallman3Crags102. Well, the original plan was for Perry to have an arm. In fact, if I go into the art and the models here, then if we look at the very, 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 very first model I made of Perry, you can see she did actually have 2 little cameras on her. It was going to be, you could either look through this or you could look through this. But in practice, it looks a bit nauseating, it's bobbling around all over the place, and the world looks like it's shaking. So it looks cool for about 10 seconds, and then you get really, really motion sick. But I did have an idea the other week how you can actually still get that simmy sort of feeling. So what I have added, if you look in the bottom right here, is some cameras on Perry. So this is viewing out of the left hand side, and then I can change to the forward-facing camera, and then I can change to the right-hand camera, and then it will just loop around like that. You can use the D-pad or the arrow keys to change through it, and yeah, that way you get to see where you're going to crash into stuff, or if there's anything in the way, or anything like that. I thought that was quite nice, because then I've given it a little green hue as well, and it just means that you feel more like, you know, Perry is actually there and you're controlling a robot rather than just, you know, it's a video game, isn't it? So I hope that has satisfied your craving for some sort of POV. Again, probably not 100% finished. There's a few, you know, there's a few things to work out, but I'm happy with the first proof of concept. So let me show you how it works. So if we look at the prefab for Perry here, she has a little section here called the Onboard Camera Array. Isn't that a mouthful? So I've got 3 onboard cameras, 2 of which are currently disabled, and they just target the render texture that used to be from the minimap, because you see it's called minimap render texture. Because why change it if it ain't broke, right gang? So yeah, what happens is you press a button and it changes to deactivate that camera and activate the next camera, and that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let me show you some code, because we all love some code. I love a good bit of code. So up here in the start function, we will assign the change camera POV control performed and do a load of stuff to it, which just means basically if you perform this button press or this action, then run this function. So this function down here will take the direction you press, so you'll either get a 1 or a -1, and then we add that to the camera index number, which is just it's an index. That's why it's called an index, gang. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it, when you think about it? So if the camera index is more than 2, then we flip it back around to the start and set to 0, and if it's less than 0, so it's gone to -1, we set it back to 2. So it's always going to be 0, 1 or 2, and if it goes above 2, it goes to 0, it goes below 0, it goes to 2. You see how it works, and then all we do is we go through the camera array and check if the camera that we're checking currently matches the index, i.e. the one that should be activated. If so, then we set it to active, and if it's not the camera that should be active, then we set it to not active. I've said active too many times now. But yeah, all jokes aside, thank you to everyone who watched. It means a lot. I'm glad you like the look of my game so far. Now let's on to some things that I tried to add and didn't quite finish yet. So yeah, UI, I said I was adding more UI, and I've added some. It's getting there, but not all of it is there yet. But you know, it's a work in progress. All I need to do is update pause menus, main menu, and then I think we're there. I've done all the in-game UI, so quests will spawn this new looking quest holder. I've changed that around, and dialogue looks better now as well. I don't know if I've got a way to trigger any dialogue in this practice scene. Let me trigger some dialogue for you. Change of plan, because I don't want to, I can't be bothered. I just want to show you some boxes, guys. So here's the dialogue box. This would be the text where it says, oh, this is a message from your mum. And this would be a message where it says, oh my god, I had so much fun shagging Squishy last night. He's the best. And then I've put a little prompt here. I changed. It used to say space to skip, but now I've added a controller, and it's not, you can have a space bar on a controller unless you've got a really, really weird controller. If you've got a controller with a space bar, send me a picture. And not one of them Xbox controllers. I'm getting off track. So now it says boost with a little arrow next to it, so then you know if you press the boost key, which on the keyboard is a space bar, and on the controller it's A. And that'll go to the next page of dialogue. So yeah, this is what it looks like in game. UI is nearly there. Just needs a few more tweaks, but I'm a busy guy. What can I say? I'm, you know, full of social life, and that's a bit of a lie. I have to work though. I've got to do things, and I've got to eat food, and I've got to not die, and that takes a lot of effort. I've got to say it does. And I'm going on holiday next month as well, so it's all up in the air. And then it's Christmas, and then it's New Year, and life comes at you fast, doesn't it? All-Star was right. The years start coming, and they don't stop coming, no matter how much you want them to stop coming. But the big thing I was working on this month is something called the Transcript Builder. What's the Transcript Builder? Well, I'll bloody tell you if you give me a second. So I wanted it to add more characterization to Perry, because as I say, I'm a bit of a, you know, wanky auteur. which is why I wanted you to be able to look up, and I wanted that to be quite a thematic thing going through why, you know, the story is a struggle for her power, and in the game you're literally struggling with battery life power. Isn't it? Oh, it's so wanky. But the transcript is going to be when you finish a level, Perry's going to send a message back to home base, like a mission report. It's going to be like, oh, hey guys, this is what happened. I did the mission, it went well, and then I crashed a few times and I felt sad. So what I want to do is have a transcript that shows up at the end with all this information on it that will change depending on how you played. So if you did crash a lot, then Perry's going to go, oh, I crashed a lot. But if you didn't and you drove really well, Perry's going to go, oh, this was a really good mission, I'm feeling really great. So the transcript is going to be made up of level text, which is going to be level dependent, would you believe? So if you finish the first level, Perry's going to go, wow, I really enjoyed my first adventure into the unknown. And if it's it's going to say what you did in the level. If you've got to go out and pick up some rocks, Perry's going to say, oh, I picked up some rocks and it went well. And then the stats text is going to be things like, oh, I crashed a lot, or I used all my battery life, or something like that. So it's going to be dependent on how you acted, how you performed, how well you did. And then the first time strings is going to be things like, oh, I found this area for the first time today. Oh, I picked up this collectible for the first time today. And so what I have done is that this will be collated from all over the place. So I've got a transcript collider. So if you crash into it, it'll say, oh, the player has been to this area. Give this transcript message to the player. And then the player will pass that to the game controller, and the game controller will pass that to the transcript builder. It's going all over the place, and it's getting a bit spaghetti-y, but the basic point is I'm going to get a load of strings, give them to the player controller. The player controller is going to give that back, and we're going to go, right, let's sort the chaff out. So we've got priority messages. So for all of the first time strings and the stat strings, we can't just have 100 strings in there. That's too many strings. So what we're doing is we're going to sort out the ones that are higher priority. So it's a priority 3, that means it absolutely needs to be shown. We've picked up a collectible, there's some cool flavor text there. So put that one in, and that one takes priority. It's priority. So priority 2 should be visiting areas the first time, which will take precedence over things like, oh, I crashed a lot, I stubbed my toe, if I had toes. And then priority 1 will be for something like some of the stat stuff, but some of the cooler stat stuff. So like I had a long fall, or we spent more than 50% of the time looking up. And then 0 will just be for, if you've not done anything particularly interesting that level, we don't want it to just not say anything, because Perry's still got to report back something. So she'll say, oh, I used a lot of power today, I'm feeling quite tired. Stuff like that. So the way we sort this is to say, for each of the messages we've been given in this list of transcripts, if it's priority 3, then we add that. And then we check if we've got no transcripts still, that means there aren't any priority 3 ones, and we go through, oh, are there any priority 2 ones? And we'll add them. And if there still aren't any, then we want to check for any priority 1. And if not, that means it's just the one priority 0 fallback message that we passed, and we can just return the one we were given in the first place. So yeah, that's, it's not done yet. A lot of things aren't done yet. This one's been a bit of a oof. But I feel like we're moving in a good direction. We're getting to the point now where I'm hoping by the end of the year we'll be feature locked. We won't have any more features to add, and it'll just be polishing and bug fixing. That is the aim. I did originally say I wanted to release it for Christmas, but come on, I'm not that masochistic. So yeah, that's the state of play. That's the Xbox Game Showcase. That's the Nintendo Direct. I'm going to stop saying Game Showcase things now. E3. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time when hopefully I have actually finished some things. Bye!